I don't know if you're a spiritual person, but for me at least, it is the 8th day of the 8th month, and that's significant in some way or another. 8's in fact a lucky number, and I've been feeling it lately, if you will, enjoy the pun. So after nearly a year of not posting any videos on here longer than a minute, today I am taking a chance, and I'm taking you on a bit of a trip with me as we paint something together. I'm using Winsor & Newton Galleria acrylic with brushes from the discount section and tinfoil for my palette. Lately I've been doing a lot of experiments with my acrylics to try and make them look like oils, and I've landed on this technique. I'm sure sooner or later I'll cave and try out oils, but in the meantime, acrylics will do, and I'm just piling it onto my canvas panel using a palette knife to get that thick, somewhat even consistency oils often provide. I hate to be one of those traditionalists, but I do really love the luminosity oils provide, on top of how they look to blend. Most of all though, I enjoy how they're pushing me to experiment with acrylics in ways I probably wouldn't. I think experiments are where an artist's creativity flourishes most, so I can really appreciate this fact. And this is kind of an experiment in itself, because I want to work on a bigger piece. This 4x4" panel is only a stepping stone for that big piece that I will be working on in a couple minutes time, but I really just wanted to take you step by step truly through my process. So this panel we are using to figure out techniques and also how colors work together. I frequently don't paint statues or people either, so that's another bit of trial and error testing for me, as I would really love for this piece to feature a statue with a dragon on it in some fashion. That experiment was a success, so we moved on to my bigger piece. It is 8 by 10 inches, and sadly my phone storage ran out as I was doing the sketch, but I decided to run with the creativity and sacrifice that section of this video, because for the longest time I have started filming many videos, and I've stopped because I've not got quite the right clip, resulting in no video for the last 11 months. Anyway, let's talk about this part of my process. I decided to work in sections, working on a larger piece, because the paint will dry before you get to it if you're piling it all on one canvas, of this size at least, and then, whilst it's still wet, I'm going in with a paintbrush. That way we can ensure there's definitely a consistent coverage, as well as blend it out more and give the more painted look instead of just colours slapped on in blobs. It's also a lot easier to refine details when you're using a brush compared to a palette knife. I start with a flat brush to blend things out and work my way down to a smaller detail brush to pack loads of detail and a lot of implied detail as well into my painting. Implied detail is one of those things I could ramble on about for ages, but if in doubt, do a bunch of dots and lines, it will fill the space up. At this point I was happy with my greenery, so we are moving on to the tree, which is arguably still greenery, but that said, it's a different colour for me to slap onto this canvas, a new section. And to be honest, possibly my favourite section. I loved how this tree came out, and now I want to paint a load of trees. Not to be confused with a forest though, because I would like to focus on one tree at a time. It was the bark that got me, okay? The bark details are very fun, and when you think about it, very simple. I'm only doing a couple brush strokes here, but it implies the entire surface of this log. You know the popular comment going around, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this? I think I need you to hold my hand as I take on this part of the process, okay? I was scared of painting this statue. I have not painted a human since high school. My old friend, Implied Detail, who I mentioned briefly earlier, is going to carry this section of the painting, except no, she won't, because this is the focal point. This is where the detail needs to be the most real. So instead of focusing on her and getting tunnel vision, I'm going to work on bits and pieces, and we're going to move on to a different section. But let me remind you how you can change your mind up on anything whenever you want, pretty much, because I was originally going to make this sky blue, like the initial 4x4" panel I painted. But after working on her in sections and getting so used to this vibrant pink, I thought I'd be doing a disservice to this painting if I did not give her a dramatic sunset. I'd later realized that doesn't really work with the lighting I've already painted, but that's, again, an easy fix. I was just ravenous to paint a sunset. Plus, I thought it would be a good place to experiment with perspective when it comes to the horizon line and how colors work and get desaturated or pinker or bluer as they get further back. So we are also adding a mountain range. Me? Ambitious? No. The one thing I did find finicky about doing this method with the slight ombre and choosing a sunset over a solid blue sky was these leaves. These little leaves, all the negative space from where there are gaps coming through the trees. Leaves, a poem by the I'm joking, okay? I actually really like this part of the painting process. As long as you get an okay color match, it's like carving. And believe it or not, I did woodwork in college. I did a construction course. And I'm very grateful I did. I think if I went to college for art, I probably would have burnt out and not be on the path that I am today. I'm so sorry I forgot to film the majority of this dragon. I hope you don't mind the shameless promotion now that we do have the dragon in the painting though, because my print club, the Dragon Sword, hit 57 members yesterday, and I'm so excited about that. It's crazy the amount of support that club has received since I first started it. In only June of this year, it has made a lot of opportunities open up for me. You may have remembered me mentioning oils earlier in the video. I have actually purchased a set. That is what July's members have purchased for me. I can't thank you enough. And thank you for watching this video. This painting is now off for my first exhibition. I'm sorry I forgot to film quite a lot of clips, and I would film a better reveal if I had her still. I hope she comes home, but I also hope she doesn't. If you're interested in supporting more of my creations and want to receive art every month, my print club is in the description.